Hello everybody, and just here and welcome to Ryza no Atelier. This show also has some subtitle. I know what, Ryza no Atelier. That should be enough. It is a show based on the game. That much I know. That's about as far as my knowledge of the series goes. I know there is alchemy. I know that it's based on a game in the Atelier series because I have seen Eska and Logino Atelier. I'm assuming it's, I know, shared universe or something like that. And I know the main character is mostly known for her thighs. And I have the characters from this show in Azure Lane because there was a collab, and I somehow managed to get all of the collab characters. And besides that, I have pretty much no expectations as to what we're gonna see. Now, sure, I've read the synopsis during the live stream when I was going through all of the shows of the current season. It's gonna be linked somewhere in the corner, so you might want to check it out to see my initial reaction to the trailer and to the description. Ryza and her friends are going to set off somewhere and meet some guy who's going to be teaching Ryza alchemy. That's about as much as I got from it, so I'm going into this series pretty much completely blind. I did want to play the game at one point, but I heard people's opinions that it's extremely grindy. It wouldn't really be any like good material for the channel, for example, because it's like 5 hours of grinding ingredients and making potions, and then like 15 minutes of story, and that basically sums up the game. So I'm glad the story is probably, I don't know, I'm not sure, condensed into a singular show, singular anime. We'll see. We'll see. If I really like what I see, I might even buy the game, and I might even play it. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Who's to say? We'll see. Although I have still a few games on my backlog, Disco Elysium and others, and City Skylines 2 is coming out soon-ish. So I will have my time filled up. I've seen Shinmai Renkin Jitsushi, another alchemist show, and I liked it. It was some comfy alchemist shop vibes, so I'm expecting something similar here. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. Again, I have absolutely no clue what to expect. This is episode 1, of course. I know episode 2 is already out. I'll see whether I will be a week behind on it or whether I'll catch up. Another thing we will see. I'm going to be using version from subs, please. They're the fastest, of course, probably not the best, maybe. I know it's probably a rip from Crunchyroll or something like that, but it is what I have. I also usually, I don't know, put a hat on or get some dress up or some set pieces or something whenever I start watching a new show, but this time around I don't really have anything alchemical besides this. It's like few years old by now. It's black dye, handmade by myself, by yours truly, made of vinegar and steel shavings. It stains, I think only no any sort of leather. Yeah, any sort of leather stains black because it comes with, it goes into a reaction with the whatchamacallit, the substances used to prepare leather, to turn pelts into leather essentially, and it results in black color. So it also works on like oak wood and stuff like that that has a lot of tannins. I think tannins is the proper name for it. So that's gonna be our decoration this time around. Okay, that's it, I think. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't watched my other shows yet, my other episodes, videos, please do. You might find something interesting, but you're probably unfamiliar with the formula. Right now, it's the intro. I'm pretty much done with it. And now we're going to watch the show with a timer at the bottom, just like that. You're gonna need it to follow along with me, sync up your own copy. Then we will go to the discussion segment where I will show the show in the corner and go through it again. And lastly, my final thoughts on the episode. Everything is gonna be time-stamped at the bottom. So, without further ado, I think we can start watching this episode 1 of Ryza no Atelier. And to do that, of course, you will need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on, and I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily, for example on Patreon down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 1 of Ryza no Atelier in 3, 2, 1, go. Rasenboden. Does it mean something in German? I wonder. Very pretty place. Very chill. And she found it. Nearby island. Or are they on an island? Or both. I mean, that's also possible. Opening time? Yeah, okay. We are getting an opening right from the get-go. Yeah, you know where the focus of the show is. They're not even trying to hide it. Also, I hope you can't hear the fan. It's going on in the background, but it's 27.7 degrees Celsius right now at 51% humidity. And it's 2 in the morning. 28 degrees at 2 in the morning. Gotta love climate change. That's the teacher, I'm assuming. I know her from Azure Lane. Atelier Ryza, the animation. Those are interesting tomatoes. Half eggplant, half tomato? Oh, it's Kurken fruit, of course. Of course. Perhaps using some, you know, nippers would be better than a knife. Who's the voice actress for Ryza? I recognize this voice from somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, it might just be similar. We're gonna go through all the voice actors and staff members and all that jazz as well after this segment is done. Probably. Is because of farming, yep. Father is like right there. You really couldn't take like 5 more steps? Water, of course. I mean, she's not wrong. Those are very game names, I gotta say. And we get our first quest. Oh, stereo. And those are very NPC looking kids. They're pretty much identical except the color of their shirts. Tao, the studious one. Okay, some mysterious... Oh, I thought it's some mysterious script or something, but no, he's just illiterate. I mean, it makes sense. A small community like that on an island, you don't really have much need for literacy. Or maybe he's not illiterate because he can take notes. So maybe it is some mysterious script and I just misunderstood. Well, everybody's good at something, I guess. Okay, so Tao the brains, Lent the brawn, and Ryza the support. It works as a team. Conflict. Okay, tradition says we don't leave this island and we don't let outsiders in. You all must be horribly inbred by now. Okay, so it's looks vaguely priest-ish. I'm missing some clicking and clanking of that armor as he's moving that arm. What happens tomorrow? Okay, outside merchant. Gotcha. Is that gonna be Ryza's master? So if nobody ever leaves the island and nobody ever comes in, how do they get paper? Do they like make everything on island? Are they fully self-sustainable? What's the need for currency if you're living in a perfect commune? Yeah, the possibility, the ability is what matters, you know? Being able to see other things. And if you don't like it, you can always come back, right? But the ability to do that. And it's plum tea, by the way. I think green with plum. Or black. I'm not sure, actually. And how do you intend to leave the island? Do you have a boat or something? Yeah, fuck tradition. Exactly. That's a good question. So, steal. That's called stealing. Okay, so the island isn't even mapped outside of like the civilized area. Yeah, you have a warrior, you have a soon to be healer. I know her from Azure Lane collab as well. Is that the merchant or is she just guarding the caravan? Random encounters on world map. Oh, so he's the merchant. Probably. Those are some interesting buildings. They don't seem like something the villagers would be able to make. There's a lot of emphasis on her thighs, isn't there? And that's a beaten up sword. What's that, a pickaxe? No, it's a warhammer. Okay, so everybody's armed. And you can also use it to gather resources. And Ryza has a what's it called? I don't know the English name for it, but in Polish it's cep. You use it to separate grain from the rest of the wheat and stuff. But usually the connection is a piece of rope, not a hinge, but sure, it's a fantasy cep. City guard. Yeah. Does she look like the kind of a character who would plan? He's awful happy at the prospect. Okay, at least that means plenty of boats in the port. I'm guessing she's gonna sneak with Ryza. Maybe. Or that, sure. Okay, so they are heading to the other shore and bringing the merchant along. Gotcha. I thought merchant has some sort of a, transportation. You can row. Or maybe this time around it's actually wisdom, you know? Tradition is a way of passing wisdom of the time. Some of it does become outdated, sure, but some of it stays relevant. Oh, that glow. That's forbidden love! Oh, so I'm assuming the other end of the shore, or rather, the other shore, is also inhabited, so it's not like they're going into the wilds. That's a funky looking tower. Alchemist tower? Finally getting some sound out of that armor. Okay, he's just being strung along for the ride. Ah, sorry. You can just walk. I mean, you are the brawn. We still have good 5 minutes left, though. And it already very much feels like a finale of the episode, like the ending. Yeah, like, roll the credits, right? But no, there is still more. Okay, so there is some sort of a past civilization. Oh, the archer lady? Yeah, kind of weird, isn't it? Okay, she will find a kindred spirit in Ryza. She probably doesn't want to be a merchant's daughter either. She also wants to go for adventures. Okay, they made it safely. That's important. True, you should have followed the shore. Yeah, that's not much of a map, is it? Some mines to the left, some gate up front. Okay, but can you? Do you even have a compass? I mean, there probably are some slimes or wolves or something. I mean, just smack real hard. A mace would probably be better because you don't have to worry about the side, but hammer is heavy. Swinging heavy stick is always a good way of fighting. If you can carry that heavy stick, of course. What you gonna do when you run out of sandwiches, though? tall grass, you're gonna find some PJs and ratatas. And probably dangerous, yeah. I mean, plenty. It's not like there's much to see on your little island, so there's gonna be many, many things you haven't seen before. Like a fight with monsters. Oh, Claudia, hello. What you doing here, and what's that carrying case? Okay, so monsters as well. You don't even have a weapon. Okay, it's just blue slimes. Very JRPG looking slimes. Okay, at least got one hit. Doesn't seem like it dealt much damage, but... Wait, is it like... Oh, it's 40-something minutes. 48 minutes. Okay, double-length episode. I was wondering why we're at 26 minutes and it's still not ending. Claudia Valence. Yep. I recognize your name from Azure Lane. Okay. Separated, sure. Yeah, I mean, that would work in your favor. I mean, she threw some of those spiky balls. Nobody knows. Exactly. And you're on the crossroads. And what's inside of the case? I mean, yeah, those were just slimes. I was half expecting some man-eater flowers, but no, just regular blue clover. Put them in a book. Shut the book down. Down, I mean, shut it close. Probably not. But you don't have any other. That's why you should have a compass, at least. You might very well be headed inland. Oh, some rocks with writing on them. Yeah, and pixies? Question mark? Pixies, okay. They're probably guarding the stone circle, so you can just go around. And they're unlikely to hurt you. As you can see, they're not particularly aggressive. Or maybe they are. They were just waiting for their turn. And Ryza doesn't have her healing potions yet. Yeah, they're focusing the tank. There's no healer, so tank is the next best target. Oh, hello. What's her name? And the alchemist. With a barrel of TNT. Exactly. I love combat alchemy. Heterochromia. Healing potion. You're not interested in the stone circle? You were talking about ruins, and this seems like a very interesting ruin. Okay, so there is some sort of a fallen civilization. And Tao has an opportunity to learn how to read this ancient script. Okay. Lent can learn fighting from her. Ryza can learn alchemy. Everybody has something to benefit. Magic or potion? Potion. Or pixie dust. I guess that also works. Blue flame. Okay, interesting. Exorcism brooch. And her back hair kind of look like tentacles a little bit. Probably not a human. No, it's alchemy. And now she knows what she wants to do in life. Oh, fuck off with those traditions already. Besides, they helped Claudia. I guess that's also true. But Claudia would have succumbed to the slimes earlier, so... Something of interest. She's closing her left eye. It's a cursed left eye of the Demon Lord or something of the sort. Lila. Lila. Sorry, Lila. Okay, so they're gonna be friends. They have a decently similar disposition in that they're both very adventurous. And here's the Church of Tradition, or whatever they're called. Face of the village. Interesting. Okay, gotcha. Oh, so the dam belongs to him. And the whole ass water source, okay. Well, that's kind of fucked, isn't it? Yeah, it's so beautiful that one person has supply of fresh water in their grasp exclusively. Real fucking paradise in it. I mean, you didn't really lose anything, so... Oh, it's those two. Boss. His name's literally Boss. And his goon is lumbar support. Roads wide, though. Okay, so classic unlikable bully trope. With Boss having a chance at turning around, maybe. Yeah, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, as Pharaoh's intro taught me. Okay, no need to even, communicate it. It's obvious that she was going to do that sooner or later. Mysterious brew. No bow. To learn. Yep. Let us help you. Oh, interesting book. You're gonna need guides. So, an exchange of services, right? We show you around the ruins, we bring you some books, and in exchange, you guys teach us. Exactly. What's the deal with her hair? Why, though? Well, test her aptitude. Test it. Exactly. First fetch quest. Cilantro. No, that looks like... No, not parsley. Parsley has like multi-part leaves. I mean, her father is a merchant who has a stall here, so of course she's gonna stay with him. That's where you seen the herb, I'm assuming. Yep. Plenty of magical ore, what seems like. I mean, everything is. Probably. If alchemy works the way I suppose it works. I mean, it sure wouldn't hurt bringing a piece of a crystal with you and, I don't know, some grass and random fruit. Nameless grass. That's basis for alchemy, isn't it? An interest in how the world works and looks. Then repeat the steps. It's a minigame, isn't it? Just threw the whole thing in. Didn't even pour it. Is it like a in-game mechanic where you lose the container if you throw something into the alchemy pot? Or he's just gonna get a fully bottled potion back. I guess that also works. And as he said, you either have the aptitude or not. So if it works, you have the aptitude. If it doesn't, well, you apparently don't. It's a very ornate and ship-looking stir ladle thing. Seems so. Okay, so she does have the aptitude. Some really nice adventure music. Now you only need to hone your skills. What are her parents gonna say to that, though? I guess we'll learn that in the next episode. Okay. That was an enjoyable episode. A lot of focus on Ryza's design. The midriff window and all that jazz. On her thighs, the nape, everything. I guess they know their audience. And okay, we still have like 20 seconds left or so. Anything after credits? Oh, okay, a teaser for the next episode. Spoiler free, hey, I can appreciate that. Okay. Oh boy, this video is gonna be long, isn't it? We're already almost an hour in, and now we have to go through this episode again, right? As is tradition. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this episode to be 48 minutes long. Like, I think I read it during the stream, but I somehow was not prepared for it. I mean, whatever. You gotta improvise every now and then. That's a very interesting island layout, first of all. I thought the island is just a single city, but it seems like there's at least three of the like main population centers on this island, and the island itself is quite small actually. You don't really see many fields or I don't know fruit trees or anything like that. I wonder how can they be self-sufficient on an island like that. Sure, you get plenty of lumber, you get plenty of fish and other materials, but I don't know. Maybe they actually do grow everything they need. Flax for clothes, We haven't seen many farm animals besides some goats, I think. I guess they might be self-sufficient, despite the island being so small. Ah. Ordinary island called Kurken. That's a very, very pretty place. Ordinary village called Rasenboden. Okay, so it is an island that has 3 villages on it. Gotcha, I thought the whole island is the territory of Rasenboden. But apparently not. A lot of ruins, for sure. In general, I really like the world building in this show. All this time, I had that weird impression, that weird feeling that the world is a post-apocalyptic one, kinda sorta. Like, some apocalypse happened, wiped out the previous kingdom, civilization, whatever you want to call it, and the current one rebuilt on the ruins. And the apocalypse was so long ago that nobody even knows, nobody even remembers it, right? That's what I mean by post-apocalypse. Something bad happened, but now we have already rebuilt. I guess what really adds to that fact is their isolationism on that island. That they really seem like, kind of an enclave of humanity. And there are few like small cities and islands that are enclaves of humanity, and the rest, I don't know, maybe it was ravaged by monsters or something, and thus they had to hide on the island. There was a lot of talk about tradition. We can see the dam. A lot of talk about tradition, about how it's tradition to not leave the island, which I guess kind of plays into that theory that it is a post-apocalyptic world, because tradition is how wisdom of the past is passed down to future generations. For example, some religions have rules like don't eat pork, right? Or don't mix meat with cheese, or some other rules like that, because they were actually sensible. Back in the days, you couldn't store and prepare pork properly, so if you were to eat pork, chances are you would get sick. So it became part of tradition to not eat pork. Nowadays, it makes absolutely no sense to follow it, but it still is tradition. And kind of a similar situation here. It might have actually been a useful wisdom to not leave the island because you are safe here, you're not safe on the shore. But nowadays, is it still true? Probably not. So tradition is important, but it should never be an end-all and be-all. Unless we're talking about... what's it called? There is a specific term for it, but essentially passing down the knowledge of nuclear waste sites. Right? There are many plans, many theories on how can we do that. How can we discourage people of the future from going into the nuclear waste sites? Ideas range from hostile architecture, building some concrete spikes, to trying to figure out some symbols that universally look threatening. But none of that really works, right? Because sure, there might be some spikes, but hey, that's a spiky area, some archaeologists might think. They were trying to discourage us from exploring it because there's probably some riches there, or someone important was buried there, or something like that. So of course we're gonna go there and dig there. Same goes for symbols. You can't really tell how the meaning of symbols will evolve over time. The universal atom symbol might just not mean atom, might not mean nuclear power in the future, right? So there were... Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. There were different other ideas. Most ridiculous of them was probably breeding cats with some special bacteria that would make their fur fluoresce when in contact with radiation, so that if people were to see fluorescing cats, they would avoid that spot, which is ridiculous. But one of the ideas was tradition, creating a keepers of tradition, essentially creating myths, creating rituals, creating all sorts of those things, talking about the danger of atomic waste, of nuclear energy, and those being passed down generation to generation. Having the sites of nuclear waste be embedded in those rituals and in those myths as well, so that they know that it's an unholy land. Essentially, you don't go there because it's dangerous. So, to sum it up, because I started digressing, tradition, important, but every so often should be revised to see if we actually need certain bits and pieces from it. Opening. Yeah, they know their audience. So many shots at her thighs. Yeah, that wasn't necessary. This wasn't necessary, but it's there. Because of course it is. Adventure. What's in the box is the question I have, but I'm assuming we will learn about that soon-ish. Also, I'm gonna preemptively say it. If you've seen episode 2, if you played the game, please don't spoil it to me. I'm going in completely blind, and I would like to keep it that way. Thank you. Slimes, very happy looking, very... what's the game that has those, like, happy slimes? Not EverQuest, or was it EverQuest? Maybe EverQuest, I'm not sure. Adventure, alchemy, she's not human, I don't know who she is. Maybe it was mentioned in the Ryza collab in not Alchemy Stars, Azure Lane. Maybe it was, but if so, I don't remember it. And yeah, Atelier Ryza. This really looks like a combination of an eggplant and a tomato, but apparently it's Kurken fruit. Interesting that it's named the same as the island. Is it something specific to the island? Like you can grow Kurken fruit only on the Kurken Island? Or did it start growing here? Or maybe the island was named after the fruit? Oh. It's too squishy. Yeah, use nippers, not a knife. Or at least make sure your knife is sharp. Because this really doesn't look like a sharp knife. And also you might try cutting with the blade, not with the side of the knife. You know, just saying. And of course, she was born to farmers. She's doing farming work, but she doesn't want to be a farmer. She wants to be someone more. Very classic start to a hero's adventure, right? They are bored of their boring normal life. They want to be someone else, someone more. So they set off on an adventure. The daily changes are so much fun. Yeah, wheat was this tall yesterday, and today it's this tall. Fun! Can you see what the wheat wants? Well, being under the hot summer sun. Probably water, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, don't expect a young girl to think like wheat. important business in the Fairy Stone Forest. Empty lotnet to Kurken Port. And we get a bit of characterization already. That Ryza isn't just thinking of adventures and playing pretend, but rather she is trying to go on adventures in the capacity that she has. So, you know, wandering nearby forests, stuff like that. I must have seen everything there is to see on this island anyway, probably. Those are very NPC-looking kids. I don't know if it's like a meme in the games community or something. Maybe, probably. I know, that's a question you can answer, if it's not a spoiler, of course. Because they are the exact same character, just recolors. A dragon dwells in a castle on the east, of course. They have nothing to worry about. I mean, you can still have that childhood bit inside of you. Nobody says that you need to give up being a child when you get older, right? There isn't really a cutoff point. I mean, society would like us to believe that there is, that at one point you are an adult and you can't do anything childlike anymore, but it's not true. It's not true, really. I mean, I have my Legos. I constantly buy myself some new ones. I have brand new sets of Gunpla waiting for me to assemble them. Maybe that's not particularly childlike, but, you know, toys in one way or another. So if you're wondering where did your child days went and gone, just bring them back. Just be a child again. It's actually very nice trying to be a child as an adult, because you can allow yourself so much more. You know, talking about maybe my Legos, for example. When I was a kid, when I was very young, we could afford them, but later on we couldn't anymore. And for the longest time, I didn't get any new sets because we simply could not afford them. Now, I can buy them for myself. You know? I can be a child and have fun assembling these little blocks. That's the child part, and the adult part is that I can just, you know, buy them with my own money. So, yeah, it's something, it's food for thought, I'm gonna say. Food for thought. And here we meet another character, Tao. I found a book yesterday with diagrams in it that I might be able to read a little. No matter how hard you try, isn't it meaningless if you can't read the text? Initially, I thought that everybody on the island is essentially illiterate, because when you're living in a small commune like that, that's completely self-sufficient. You don't really have that much need for reading and writing, especially if someone is, I don't know, the son of a carpenter or, I don't know, a farmer. They don't really need to be able to read and write. But no, this line especially. My great-grandfather died before he taught my grandfather how to read, which told me that him, Tao, his father, and his grandfather are all illiterate. But no, it's only about this particular old ancient script. Here we meet Lent, sword training, and the brawn, essentially. He carries things around, holds things around, helps people, probably. And we established that everybody has their strong points and their weak points. Ryza doesn't know how he can just swing sword all the time, and Lent does know how he can do that because he likes it. He's the warrior. Simple as. But this guy might pose some problems. Assuming he's alone, which he probably isn't. It hasn't been said that it's any sort of a religion. But it really does have the he really does have the look of a priest. So if not religion, organized religion, then some sort of a religion-like organization that upkeeps tradition. Okay, so that's Gundam, which from Mercury. Now we can start writing stuff about Ryza no Atelier. Ryza no Atelier. Funny Hatman causes problems. Funny Hatman causes problems because tradition. Wouldn't surprise me. Again, if you're new to the channel, I sometimes take some notes, and after the series ends, I go through all of them and see how many hits and how many misses I got. We don't want anybody coming in who's a rival for our business. Sure. That Moritz trying to have an outside merchant permanently stay on our island. Reminds me a little bit of the plot in Break the Ice event in Arknights. Break the Ice storyline with Silver Ash and COD Silver Ash trying to open Kierag to the wider world because he knows that they can't be isolationist forever. No, the temperature doesn't drop. It's still 27.7. Humidity is 1% lower. Tradition says we don't leave the island and we don't let people come here. Of course, of course, of course. And this bit. Okay, so we learn of the guy just owning water, straight up owning water much earlier. I just missed it somehow. We're all aware of the traditions, but he does own the water, so, you know, we can't really do much unless we want to die of dehydration. You must respect them, do you understand? Sure, sure, Grandpa, let's put you in the bed. There's a merchant coming tomorrow. Fertilizer, scratch paper. I wonder if they get those from the mainland, or do they also make them locally? Ashra Amberd. That's an interesting name. Who knows? We never will in our lifetimes. He's very ready to give up, but thankfully Ryza has the drive for adventure, so she wants to set off. I want to look for something and find it, something unique to me. Being an alchemist, apparently. Real adventure. We'll leave tomorrow without thinking much about it. Exploring the opposite shore. Who cares about tradition? Correct. Being stuck on this island and not questioning it is what's ruining us. Yeah, actually, not questioning things is what ruins many things. Not questioning things is what ruins entire societies and civilizations. Being complacent. I fully subscribe to what Ryza is saying here. And it also shows how much of an alchemist at heart she already is, right? Already uses the, maybe not fully the scientific method, but questioning everything. That's one of the bases of science, you know? Question everything. Sometimes you see some research papers published, maybe news about it on Reddit or somewhere, that talk about something that seems, you know, very obvious. Not an exact example, but, you know, I know research shows that wood is flammable, right? Like, no shit, wood is flammable. Of course it is. But you have to check it. You have to take notes and you have to actually figure out whether wood is flammable or not. Only then can you note down in your research paper that wood is indeed flammable. And then 10 years in the future, someone else is gonna read that paper and say, you know what? I wanna see that again. I wanna check it again. I want to try to debunk that theory. I want to prove that wood is not flammable. That's science, baby. How do we even get off the island? We borrow a boat, of course. This is interesting. That there is so little shown on this map, and later there's a better shot of it. So we're gonna take a look at that. But we can see the mushroom forest. Then we can see an entrance to some crystal mines, blue crystals, similar to what was growing out of the rocks when Ryza was collecting her cilantro, nameless grass, sorry. But yeah, interesting map. Pixie Forest, the name sounds peaceful. Well, it's full of pixies, so not really all that peaceful. Show them in the picture book. Tao looks like an acorn here, just saying. First step towards a great adventure. Preparing for tomorrow, some bread, a map. Not really much. You could have at least taken, I don't know, flint and steel, but sure. A village of Rasenboden. Closed off village that doesn't really deal with any of the trading companies. Well, you'll be the first. An unexplored market. Okay, so I'm assuming those arches signify highways. And here we have those two characters. The, what's her face? I forgot her name, not Claudia. Claudia Valens is the daughter of the merchant. Lila. Let's hope the village is prosperous enough to provide snacks. Yeah. And she's collecting some weird spiky balls. Unis. Sure, those are unis. However you want to pronounce it, apparently. And she's using... Let me translate it real quick. Flail. Of course, flail. Yep, she's using a flail. Better than throwing rocks, apparently. And he has a warhammer. This was the only thing I could find that I could swing around. Really, you couldn't find anything lighter. He really doesn't seem like the kind of a character who would swing around a huge ass warhammer. You know, like slingshot. Slingshot would be perfect for him, design wise and probably aptitude wise as well. Maybe a bat, but not a fucking heavy-ass warhammer. I mean, of course, game rules, anime rules, fantasy rules, so I don't mind it, especially since I very much do like warhammers, but just, you know, it doesn't really fit the character all that much. We're going outside indeed. Trying to find a boat. But it's not gonna be easy, of course, because the Guardians are in the port and there are those two fuckboys. Mr. Boss is the boss, and that's his lackey, his Literal fucking lumbar support. His name is Lumbar. I mean, I couldn't have made any other joke on that about his name. Can't believe they're making us stop fishing. I don't know why they're making them stop fishing. Because of the merchant is arriving. It's not like you have, not enough space in the docks. It's not like you're going to, I don't know, crash into each other or anything like that. So I don't know why they're doing all that jazz just to take the merchant in. Nobody gets on the ships. Yeah, why? And she wanted to be the first one to talk to the merchant. She is probably a... she also wants to be a merchant, would be my guess. What's her name? Romy. Romy wants to be a merchant, or she has some sort of a mercantile spirit, kind of the Akashi archetype. Heading over to the other shore. Okay, so initially I thought that the merchant will arrive on the other side of the island, on the other shore, and they will have their own boats, or maybe boats are already waiting there and they'll take them to the island. But no, they will just the islanders will go for them and go back. An impressive boat, and we didn't even have to go to the port. Sure, doesn't have a sail. Even the kids on the island know that we're not supposed to cross the lake on a boat without sail. I wonder why. I wonder what's the basis for this tradition, because they seem to have been able to cross very easily on a boat without sail. I wonder if the world used to be a much more dangerous place. Right? Like the lake had some serpents or sirens or stuff like that in it, and you needed a fast sailboat to escape them because a rowboat just wasn't fast enough. I wonder if that's the basis for it. World used to be much more dangerous, and now it isn't for some reason. Maybe the monsters were extinct, maybe they were driven to extinction, maybe the demon lord got sealed, or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's really giving me the vibes that the world used to be a much more dangerous place. Sail or no sail, a boat is a boat. Indeed, sure. We'll get scolded. I mean, scolding is a low price to pay for adventure like that. And that's a very interesting tower. I thought it might have been the place where the alchemist guy lives, but now I'm not so sure. Adventuring, getting stronger. Of course, everybody has some goals. Ryza wants to find something she's good at, something unique to her. He wants to grow stronger as an adventurer, and you can't exactly grow stronger as an adventurer if there is nothing to fight, right? And he's going because the other two are going. That's also a reason. On my search for the thing missing from the humdrum life on the island. I want to change the present, find something unique to me. This is my reckless first step, guided only by my feelings. This is the beginning of our adventure. Roll the credits. It really felt like a roll the credits kind of a moment, but it was only 19 minutes in, so maybe that's why it's 48 minutes long, this episode. They didn't want to break it apart here. island bigger than expected? I guess kinda. The size of this island is actually very, differs a lot. You know, sometimes we see this island and it's like super tiny, like you could go around it in a day. Sometimes we see it and it has mountain ranges and lakes and, you know, all that stuff. Sorry. And Claudia also went missing because she's rambunctious like that. Lila is going to find her, taking a break. Yeah, now we see the map better. It's not a great map. I mean, on their island, it only shows like buildings, and I don't think the island is so densely packed. That's a useless fucking map, innit? There's mushroom forest to the right, a crystal mines to the left, and the highway, I'm assuming, with a gate up straight forward. It only shows, or that's an entrance to the forest, maybe. And we're gonna make our own map, if you can, at least. Cartography is a skill that I don't believe you possess. Remains of a path. That's another moment that really gave me the feel of this world being a post-apocalyptic one. I really like that trope, actually. I probably said it many times, and I'm kind of working here and there on my own world. Maybe for some book, maybe for some game, maybe for something like that. That's essentially based around the idea of ruins of another world and post-apocalypse, except like countless layers deep. Right, the current civilization was built on the ruins of the previous civilization, and the previous civilization was built on the ruins of the previous one, and that one was built on the ruins of the previous one, and so on and so forth and so forth, until there's only dust remaining, and nobody really knows how many civilizations were there before now. Yeah, as I said, I really like the concept. Port is closed, so only weak monsters, of course, makes sense. Some creatures, not monster creatures, or maybe monsters, but harmless. I don't know what kind of classification they have, because it differs series to series. Sometimes everything is a monster, whether it's an animal or not, and sometimes monsters are distinct, like animals that have some, I don't know, blue gem on their forehead or stuff like that. Bit of a comedy moment, looking for his glasses. Classic. That's a really beaten up sword. Really beaten up. It shows that he's training a lot. I also really like the design of it. In general, I really like the design of the world. There are some like slightly steampunk-ish elements to it, some vaguely technological elements, some fantasy, some medieval aesthetic, some Victorian aesthetic. It's a mishmash of all of them, and it works so well together. I really like the aesthetic of this show. I'm guessing the sword is one of the things you can upgrade in the game to give him a sword that's not so beaten up. Mushrooms. And we're meeting Claudia with her bow, hip quiver. Interesting that she doesn't keep her bow in the quiver or anything else. She just constantly holds that bow. And the case. What's in the box? What's in the box? My first thought goes towards a memento of her dead mother. Just throwing it out there. Basic slimes, probably first combat of the game. Not easy to hit them, but you can escape eventually. Adventure. Great, yeah, actually it is a great result for the first adventure. Fighting some monsters, getting out of it unscathed, seeing some new things, exploring some unexplored land, helping a person in need. Sounds like an adventure, all right. And we're heading home, but where is home exactly? Flowers. Stopping by the roadside and smelling flowers. And suddenly... pixies. I really thought pixies... they are right next to this stone circle with flowers in the middle. I really thought that they are just protecting this circle, and if they decided to just walk around it, pixies would not attack, but apparently it's a battle scene, right? Us versus them, taking turns attacking and all that jazz. Claudia has the bow, but she really hesitates from using it. Tells me she's never been in any real battle, any real combat. And yeah, flail isn't really of that much use. Nor is the sword. If you can't hit them, well, you can't hit them, you can't damage them. And here comes Lila with her nice little claw weapons. Not little, they are quite large actually. Exploding barrel, that's a big blast. I really like the visuals of this blast. Everything suddenly turns like not hand drawn, but suddenly there's like a lot of texture to it. There's a lot of texture to the flame. And just like that. Thankfully, they didn't damage the stone circle. And of course, they aren't strong. House remaining from the Clint Kingdom, the previous civilization. And not even their language remains, which is very interesting, because usually even if some sort of a civilization dies out, and unless it was very separationist, the language persists in one way or another. You know, this time around, it got completely forgotten. Well, not completely, because the alchemist can read it. But I'm assuming people of this civilization are using completely different script. He can read them, yep. She can teach combat. He can teach alchemy and reading. Perfect, perfect setup. Okay, we're still recording, that's good. And healing dust. I did not expect healing dust. I expected a classic potion, but I really like that it's dust. Because it's something unique, it's something different. It's not ointment, it's not potion, it's dust. Blue flame lantern, exorcism brooch. And yeah, Lent made up his mind that he wants to ask Lila to teach him how to fight. Ryza made the decision to ask this guy, forgot his name, to teach her how to do alchemy. And of course, Tao made the decision to ask him to teach to learn reading. Alchemy, Renkinjutsu. Not only did you break our holy traditions, you caused trouble for our visitors. Tradition this, tradition that. The researchers, Empel. And Lila, the bodyguard. Not a human. I still think that. I'm not sure what she is, but she ain't human. Empel probably is. A bit sleep deprived, but a human nonetheless. And of course, he had to be stern in front of everybody, but outside of that situation, asks Ryza to be a friend to Lila. Welcome to the village of Rasenboden. And Moritz isn't even a mayor. He's just a guy who owns water. What a concept, owning water. Shit. I wonder if one of the things that Ryza achieves is create another wellspring. Or, well, spring. Water spring, right? Another source of water. Ryza creates another water source. There was a similar plot in Eska and Logi Atelier, where they set off to some remote village, I believe, to fix their well because it was poisoned or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't exactly remember all of it. On this island, the person who has the water has the power. I mean, a human can easily survive like a day without water. Just raid his place. Am I right? Just, you know, assemble all the villagers and fucking raid his place. And make water a commonality. Backwards? It is backwards. I mean, it is beautiful, but it is also backwards. It just so happens that very often the most backwards places are the most beautiful. Because backwardsness means not much progress, and progress usually means uglification of the landscape, for example. Lent, Tao, everybody's here. And in the end, it was of course worth it. Those two spell trouble. I don't know why exactly, how exactly, but they do. Boss might come around. He seems like the kind that's stern, but ultimately a good person. Meanwhile, Lumber support seems like the sniveling kind that keeps close to Boss because Boss has power. And if you were to raise your hand on Lumber, he would just, you know, cower and promise to join you or whatever. Without taking the first step, we can't get anywhere. Correct. And they know full well what Ryza intended. Thanks and asking. I really like how Lila is just casually lounging around. She's not sitting up for anybody. Thankfully, the book caught his eye. Is the island perhaps some treasure trove of ruins and old artifacts and stuff like that? Seems to be the case. Yeah, we have hit the jackpot, so you help them in exchange for showing us around the area. Test of aptitude. And yeah, it's here. Nameless grass. Doesn't look like grass and has a name. Go figure. Kind of like a guinea pig. It's neither a pig, nor is it from Guinea. Guinea? However you pronounce that country. And yeah, all the herbs, and all the plants and all the fruit and everything is, or might be, an alchemical ingredient, of course. Also, I really like that sometimes ruins in anime like that, and not just anime, they just serve as a thing to drive the plot forward, right? We encounter some ruin and something happens, or we go to search for some ruin and something happens. I really like that ruins are just casually scattered around this world, like this kind of a pillar thing right here next to Ryza. There's no like purpose to it. She doesn't touch it. She doesn't try to figure it out. No, it's just there because this world is full of ruins. So, of course, ruins will be everywhere. Nameless grass. She is very fast, brought a lot of it, and is very interested in things, which is a very nice thing for an alchemist to have. Curiosity for things. Synthesis. Throw a vial of something, throw a leaf, stir 3 times, and you get a vial back. Sure. Okay, I guess that's how alchemy works. It actually seems to be a fairly common depiction of alchemy in anime and manga from what I've seen, that you just throw in random ingredients and get the thing back. It was similar in Shinmei Renkin Jutsushi, for example, right? You just throw some things in a pot, stir 3 times, and you take out a hat or something like that. I think the most unique approach to alchemy so far was in Symphogear. Curiously enough. And of course, Ryza does have aptitude, probably even a lot of aptitude, because the pot is shining a lot. And he seems interested. Another jackpot. Another alchemist. Okay, so everybody gets exactly what they wanted. Perfect resolution. Tao gets his language lessons. Lent gets his combat lessons. Ryza gets her alchemy lessons. The alchemist gets his relics and artifacts and ruins. And Lila gets paid, probably. As long as everybody's happy. Ryza and alchemist. And the ending is just various shots of Ryza showing off her model, her body, her everything, because of course. Second episode, taking the first step. So probably the first alchemy lesson, I'm assuming. Okay, so now, if my browser is willing to open, thank you very much. Now we will take a look at staff and voice actors and other other people like that. So window capture or display capture, sure, that also works. There, okay, there we go. I can take off my headphones. They're really warm. So, let's take a look. Let's take a brief look. Liden Films. I recognized Liden Films from, I believe, Yofkash no Uta. I love Yofkash no Uta, so it's nice to see that they are getting some pretty, like, high level, high importance shows to make, like this one. They also made, of course, Hataraku Saibo, some other shows, Urusakai Picnic, what else? Tejina Senpai, Killing Bites, Roku Denashi Majitsu, Akashic Records, Koito Uso, Berserk. It's crazy that they made Berserk, and they also made Call of the Night. Such drastically different shows in the quality of art. Arslan Senki, and some other smaller shows. Terraformers, Card Fight, Initial D, apparently. They started making shows in 2013, so it's not a particularly old studio. It's fairly young, actually. Tribe 9, Yusha Gashinda, and they will be making Kamiwa Game ni Uteiru, whatever that is. And plenty of shows in 2023 alone. Goblin Slayer 2, when is it coming out? Okay, we don't know yet. Gotcha. So that's the studio, Liden Films. And now I would like to take a look at staff. Who do we have listed? Do we even have... Okay, we do have a lot of staff listed. Holy shit. That is a lot of staff members. That's a comprehensive list. All in-betweeners, background artists, advertising assistants, alchemy animation in-between they have specific animators and a lot of them for just the alchemy effects. Holy shit. That's a high-profile production, alright. But original creator, Koei Tecmo Games, original character design, Torida Mono, Ryza, of course, director Emma Yuzuhira. Emma Yuzuhira didn't direct anything else, just Ryza. Interesting. Supervisor, character design, Tomoyuki Shitaya. Also, character design for Hikikomori something. Character designs, chief animation designs for other shows. Character design for Shokugeki no Soma. Interesting. Key animation for the opening of SAO. Bakuman Key Success. Toradora, chief animation director. Darker Than Black, key animation. Okay, plenty of animation roles, all in all. Who else would I want to check out? There's so many roles that it's really hard to find people I would like to check out. Let's say music, Kazuki Yanagawa, and sound director Ryosuke Naya. Just Ryza. And other shows, of course. Sound director in recording, okay, recording in Kimetsu no Yaiba, sound director in Spy Kyoshitsu, planning for Sonobisk Doll, interesting, departure from sound director role, Ganbare Doki-chan, Slime, and plenty of other roles as a sound director, and planning and production for Trinity 7. Interesting. What else? Who else? Planning, producer, executive producer, advertising, production office, theme song performance. Okay. For the opening and for the ending. Opening, Sangatsu no Fantasia. Also provided music performance for Golden Ray, Beelzebub, Demi-chan ending, Recreators ending, Slow Start, and Kisnever. Not many other shows. And Okimu theme song for the ending of Just Ryza. Plenty of people brought into the staff just for Ryza. Interestingly, script Yashichiro Takahashi, also script for K, script for... no, original creator for Shakugan no Shana. Interesting. Interesting. They brought the original creator of Shakugan no Shana to be a script writer for Ryza. Huh. Yeah. That's interesting. Very interesting. I guess since he has experience with original creations, he can work with a show that's based on a game that has, comparing to the show, has a lot of filler that isn't story. Makes sense. Episode director, plenty of them actually, but let's check them all out. At least all that were listed. Ryuta Yamamoto, unit director for Gotobun no Hanayome, episode director for Slime, Slow Loop, Azure Lane, and Isekai Smartphone. I still can't believe it got a second season. Ryza no Atelier only, Emma Yuzuriha. An identified pseudonym affiliated with Liden Films. Interesting. Interesting that someone's working under a pseudonym. Kazuya Sakamoto, Spy Family key animation, Ruby key animation, plenty of storyboarding roles, it seems, or well, at least one. Also experience as a director. Key animation for Madoka Magica. Terraformers, Chunibyo key animation. Suzumiya Haruhi, K-On! Clannad, Canon, Fumofu. Okay. Plenty of roles. Haruka Saiga, also Spy Family. Enen no Shobutai, Kizumonogatari, Koito Uso, and not many other shows. And Tetsuya Wakano. Vampire in the Garden, Pokemon Evolutions, Director Storyboard, Shingeki no Kyojin 3 Part 2, Episode 1, Part 7, Version 2, Final, Version 7 Fixed, Kido Senshi, Owari no Seraph, Shingeki no Kyojin, Kill la Kill key animation, the OVA at least, or well, Episode 25, Rolling Girls, Kofuku Graffiti, and also key animation for 2 episodes of Kill la Kill proper, Infinite Stratos key animation, SAO, Makenki, High School of the Dead, Seiko no Quasar. It's been a while since I've seen Seiko no Quasar mentioned anywhere. Really interesting show, has some interesting ideas and a lot of fan service. So it's not for everybody, but if you're fine with that, give it a shot. It's really interesting. Bakemonogatari, key animation, Chubra, whatever that is. Index, Mariaholic, Darker Than Black, Code Geass, and plenty of other older shows. Chobits, key animation in episode 11. Storyboard, Kazuya Sakamoto, already went through him, Tetsuya Wakano, and Emma Yuzuhira. So episode directors are also providing storyboards, it seems, and Haruka Saiga. Animation directors, chief animation directors. There is so many roles listed for animation, so I'm not gonna browse through them. If you spot anybody interesting involved in this show on this list, do let me know either in the comments or on my Discord, because maybe there are some interesting people involved in it and I just skipped them. Theme song though, composition and lyrics, Harumaki Gohan. Those seem to be music videos, if I'm not mistaken. Web promotion, line manager, production manager. I'm not particularly interested in that. So I think that's gonna do it for the staff, at least. And now let's take a look at voice actors. Probably the most important part, and interestingly, not many people are actually listed. Ryza, Yuri Noguchi. Yuri Noguchi, Ryza, Shizuku Oikawa, Umamusu, Meijiro Palmer, Nekopara, Goe Ishikawa from Release the Spies. Cinderella Girls seems to be her main role. Someone in World Trigger. Surprisingly few roles. An interesting choice for the voice, for the main character, for the protagonist of the show. Unless she's also the VA of Ryza in the game. Probably. Claudia Valence. I wonder, are they voice actors from the game as well? Is the game even voiced? Let me know. Hitomi Owada, Claudia Valence. Also voiced Yusha Yamema's Lily, Koyori in Wataten, Abigail in Fate, Blue Reflection, Railgun, Megan Akaiman in Kemono Friends 2, Machika Domazuku. Okay, she has plenty of anime roles actually. Netoge no Yome. And Wataten for theme song performance. Lilia Desirous, Haruka Terui. Haruka Terui also voiced someone in Buddy Daddies. Shenmue the animation, interesting. Yuna Takashima in Yuki Yuna Wayusha. I have to watch Yuki Yuna Wayusha eventually. People really recommend it to me, and I'm also interested in it. A role in Persona. Also Kemono Friends 2. Yuki Yuna. Idol Jihen. Brave Witches role. Grimgar. Haikyuu. Mika Kunin the Shinko, okay. That's another name I haven't heard of in a while. And opening ending performance. Next, Lent Mars Link, Takuma Terashima. Takuma Terashima also voiced nobody I would recognize immediately. Oh, this protagonist from Aharen-san. Oscar Orkus from Arifureta. Okay, finally some roles I do recognize. Shiroe from Log Horizon. Yeah, I guess I can hear it. I can see it. Shiroe in him. Beyblade Gleipnir Dorodoro. Oh, Fukuyama from Dorohedoro. Anybody else I would recognize at a glance? Plenty of roles, though. For sure. None I would be particularly familiar with. Oh, Saburo in Durarara. The alligator from Amaburi. That's a lot of roles. That is a lot of roles. Someone from Maoyu Maoyusha. Okay, I think that should do it. Oldest role, 2004 in Bleach. And some staff roles for OP and ED performance. Next, Tao Mongarten, voiced by Yui Kondo. Yui Kondo voiced someone in Idolmaster, Mirastion in JoJo, Umamusu, Precure, Yeah, Precure, Star Twinkle Precure, Baby Steps, Pet Life. Okay, so she starred in some hentais, it seems. Not particularly many roles. And Empel, voiced by Hirofumi Nojima, who also voiced Sumiyoshi in Kimetsu no Yaiba, Digimon, it seems, and other roles I don't really recognize. Drifters. Okay, Hentai Ojito Warawai Neko. Some background character, probably. Kuroko no Basket. Shakugan no Shana. Bakuman. Plenty of roles, reaching fair ways back. Digimon. Oh, Karin! Another show I haven't heard of in a while. I've seen Karin. Interesting show. I wonder how would it stand the test of time, though. Shakugan no Shana. Plenty of Shakugan no Shana people voicing characters. First role in Conan in 1996. And that is all the roles. Yeah, that's all the people in this show. Not many roles were listed, interestingly. It's a voice acting family. Son of Akio Nojima and brother of Kenji Nojima. Out of curiosity, Akio Nojima. Sanzo Soroi. Yeah, Soroi in Kill la Kill. And I don't think I recognize anybody else because we are entering the realm of old anime and I'm not familiar. And the brother mostly plays Bishonens, it would seem. Not... Oh, Jun Guevara. I thought it's Che Guevara. I mean, it's Baki, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was a son of Che Guevara. Someone in Dungeon. Okay, quite a few roles. Psychopaths, High School DxD, or DxD, sorry. DxD would be Polish pronunciation of it. DxD. Himoto Umaru-chan. Neko Arc. Oh, Yuto in High School DxD. Right. Okay. Okay, actually, okay. That's it. That seems to be it. Not many voice actors listed, but then again, we didn't really have all that many important characters show up, right? Just Ryza and her friends, essentially. So it would make sense. I really did like this episode. I really did. I really enjoyed myself. I'm very curious about the world. Especially curious about the world, what it has in store. I am a sucker for worlds built on the ruins of an old world. I'm a sucker for post-apocalypse, as I already said. So I'm curious and I'm hopeful that we go into it, that we get into it, at least to some degree. Because that might very well just be set dressing, you know, and the rest of the show might just be Ryza's adventures, and we never touch that previous civilization. We never go there, we never explore any ruins, we never try to discover what made the previous civilization fall. None of that. It's, you know, it's possible. It's possible, but I'd rather we explore those themes a little. Now, I do know that there is, what, 2 Atelier Ryza games already? If not 3. If not 3. So I'm not holding my hopes up that the anime will get particularly far, particularly deep. It's probably going to be mostly an introduction to the game itself. Maybe the first game isn't holding up that well, so maybe they want you to watch the anime and then jump straight into the second game in the series. Maybe something like that, I'm not sure. But I hope they cover at least a little bit of the world. Characters so far very, well, not very tropey, okay, or rather, they are very tropey, but it doesn't detract from them. If you know what I mean, they aren't like pure tropes done to death, right? Overdone to the point of just not being interesting. So that's good. And the world, all things considered, is still very game-like. Maybe it's just me knowing that it's based on a game that makes me believe the world is very game-like. Like the way they set up against pixies, it was essentially a battle screen, or all those quests that Ryza had to follow, and the notice boards everywhere where you can probably find quests for, I don't know, fertilizer or hemorrhoid cream or stuff like that. Maybe I'm just seeing things and trying to work it into my narrative, or maybe it actually is very game-like. It doesn't bother me, though. At least not yet. I'd rather they don't go any further in that, right? I'd rather they don't go into, I don't know, Lent saying, oh yeah, after this training my strength stat raised from 7 to 8. You know, none of that. As long as they don't do that, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll live with the occasional battle screen and turn-based combat system and stuff like that. Overall, I did like all the characters. There wasn't anybody unlikable, or rather, the only unlikable characters were the ones who were supposed to be unlikable. So, job well done. Our main characters are all likable, although we haven't spent that much time with them, especially not with Claudia, and I'm assuming she will be joining us on our adventures. What else is there to say? Nice art. Not like super extremely outstanding. They're not taking any risks in the art style or in the animation department, but it's serviceable. It does what it's supposed to do and does it well. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I didn't notice any, you know, art issues like some blatant texture placed on a wall or 3D environments or stuff like that. If they were there, then I didn't notice them, which means they placed them properly so that they're not noticeable. And if those things weren't there, then hey, props for good art style. Same goes for animation. Nothing, again, not taking risks. Like this season's, I can't remember the title, but there's a rom-com this season that has those like sweeping, long camera following motion sickness movements like handshakers. They're not doing that. They're making a classic, regular, proper anime with classic, regular, proper anime story and classic, normal, regular, proper anime art and animation. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. They're not taking any risks, but what they're doing well. So props for that. Very nice music. I wonder if it's the game's OST. Might be, because it sounds very, very adventure-like, very, you know, townbgm.vav or MP3 or whatever. but it's good. It's good. I like it. It's going to be my Shin Mairen Kinjutsushi of this season. Shin Mairen Kinjutsushi was the show that I would come back to when I didn't feel good enough to be recording more demanding shows. I would sit down and record Shin Mairen Kinjutsushi, and Ryza seems to be the exact kind of a show that I use as a bit of a rest from perhaps more demanding shows. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And this recording is already over 2 hours, so I think it's high time we end it right here. So now it's your time to shine. You guys, tell me, what did you think about this episode, about my reaction, about my theories? Say it in the comments down below the video. No spoilers, please. I'm jumping into it completely blind with no knowledge of the game, no knowledge of the second episode, none of that, so don't spoil it to me. If you do want to talk spoilers, my Discord is open here, also linked in the description below. You can join it, and there's going to be a Ryza channel where you can discuss the show to your heart's content, because you can use spoiler tags and all that jazz. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why, please, so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ryza Atelier, but other shows that you will see in the future what they will be. And I also stream sometimes gacha games, sometimes other stuff. I'm gonna be streaming my Gunpla building that you can see right here, Chuchu's Demi-Barding, and Guel's Dilanza. So you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of whenever I go live. Support the channel if you want, monetarily, for example, on Patreon, linked down below in the description, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, Madoka Magic, and others, and for just $1 a month you get your role on the Discord and a place in the credits, and my eternal gratitude, of course. And if you don't want to spend any money, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel an awful lot, believe you me. Over 9% of traffic to my channel comes here from Reddit links, so that tells you something. So now that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my Patreons: QB without an net, Fruit, Zay, Rainer, Aquamancer, Yuki, Ally, Fassel, Dr. Watt, Marsh, and Hans Peter. And you can join their ranks if you want, and you don't need to become an alchemist to achieve that.